Hi, fashion dolls. It is Paris Haute Couture Fashion Week. And of course, I had to bring the drama like my girl Cardi B. I am feeling pretty in pink. Today's special guest is a veteran actor, and I'm super excited to have him here in the dollhouse with me. This is his first time here. So without further ado, let's welcome to the dollhouse, Tony Demil. And a very special shout out to my brother, K Tukes. Make sure you guys please go and check out the K Tukes spot. We've done some collabs together, so make sure y'all please go and check it out. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Do y'all like today's look? It is Paris Haute Couture Fashion Week, and you know I had to bring the drama. So y'all make sure y'all are staying tuned. I have been having such a great week, and I hope you guys have been as well too. So without further ado, let's welcome Tony to the dollhouse. Let me go on ahead and share this live with him and get him on up in here so that we can get this show started. How are y'all doing? Hi, Chrissy. Hi, everybody. Welcome as you come in. Please share the live fashion dolls. There we go. And we're going to get this show started. Are y'all ready, fashion dolls? Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready for a good show today? I am. Did y'all enjoy yesterday's show with Devontae Brown? I had such a great time, and he just blew me away with just his blessing of anointing. Make sure y'all go back and check out that interview. That was a good show. This week has just been a great week for me thus far, and I couldn't be even happier. My favorite type of fashion week, couture fashion, which is where you can go all out and you can be as creative and dramatic as you want to be. So I'm super, super, super excited for this week. And Cardi B is absolutely delivering the looks. Y'all need to be checking out my stories because I've been posting clips from WWD in there as well too. So y'all make sure y'all follow WWD. Great fashion outlet, and they will let you know, okay, what runway show is which and which is which. Right now she's at the Margiela show. So you know Margiela is one to go all the way outside of the box as it pertains to avant-garde or couture fashion. Today's look was inspired by Cardi B. The hair was inspired by Cardi, but I can tell you the look overall was inspired by vintage Mugler. If you go back in 1983, I want to say Terry Mugler made something similar where all of the models came out in these big, beautiful, puffy ball gowns, and they were so gorgeous. So I said, I have to bring the drama. So without further ado, let's welcome to the dollhouse. Without further ado, fashion dolls, Tony Demil. Make sure y'all go and check out Jay Evans. And we also did some collabs. So y'all go and check that out. Hello.
I'm trying to find a
Welcome.
perfect angle. Yeah, I'm using my new ring light I just got for my friend gave me.
Take your time. Welcome as you come in, fashion dolls. I hope y'all are loving the pink. Again, the inspo for the look that I'm wearing today. Make sure you guys go and check out the gown. Was vintage Terry Mugler, 1983. And that show was so significant because it kicked off some of the most influential women in the fashion industry ever, as far as supermodels. Naomi Campbell, Pat Cleveland, so many. So go back and check that show out. But without further ado, how has 2025 been for you thus far?
It's been challenging. It's been challenging for all artists, I think. Yeah, the industry's been a little slow this year, but it's been ups and downs the last 4 years, basically since the pandemic.
Yes, and then we had the writer's strike. So it's been difficult for a lot of us having to regroup. And then as far as the pandemic is concerned, a lot of things were closed down, especially if you do theater. I sit with a lot of actors who do Broadway theater, and a lot of shows were closed down and impacted by the 2020 pandemic. Like nobody was there. A lot of things got canceled. So we had to do things how we're doing them now. But people always find their ground and their creativity and come back with a bang.
Yeah, I think one of the ways that oligarchs oppress society is to silence artists.
Oh, oh, he went there. Okay.
Just
I wasn't
because look, here's
expecting that.
the thing. When Oprah spoke, was it at the Golden Globes or was it at the Emmys? You could have heard a pin drop. These are people who have been at an event that is basically work for them for like 4 hours, and Oprah started speaking, and it was like Zoom. And no one has to say, oh wow, no one has to, people know the truth when they hear it.
Yeah.
And so one of the ways that oligarchs oppress society is by silencing artists, because I don't have to sit here and be like, this is the truth, this isn't the truth. People know the truth when they hear it.
Ooh, I wasn't expecting him to go there, y'all. He must have been watching my previous episodes, but you know
You
what
know what?
else?
I looked at some of your stories that you posted today.
Oh
Okay,
God.
I was like, she's on it. They're on it.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, look, that's the thing is when artists see people suffering, we have to speak up about it.
Yeah.
We can't turn off the part of our consciousness that's like, well, I'm fine, but like, no, people are being dragged into jails in the streets. It's insane. This country has plenty of money. We have plenty of resources for everyone. The idea that we don't is totally absurd.
And
Yeah.
as far as oligarchs, as you said, the first thing that they do is they crush dissent. As we're seeing them do right now, they are silencing. This administration is silencing. It is like literally our truth drowning out their truth. No, it's their truth drowning out our truth. And they will
Exactly.
go by any means necessary to cover that up, especially the occupant of the White House. What does he call it? He calls it fake news. When we push back, when we challenge, when we speak out, fascists and oligarchs, as you've mentioned, because I wasn't expecting him to go at it at all, but I have been
No.
vocal about this. This is fascism. This is straight
A
out of Hitler's
hundred
playbook.
percent. 100%. Um, when you have someone in the White House who basically convinces people that whatever he's saying is the truth, whether it's a lie or not, that's like, what is happening? And here's the thing, like I said, when Oprah speaks at the, well, I'll just say Oscars, I think it was Golden Globes or the Emmys, it was one of those, you could have heard a pen drop. It was like the truth just echoes. Because here's the thing, artists don't come on and talk about why you should vote for me. Artists come on and talk about why you should be compassionate and care about
Thank
other
you.
people. Which, oh, by the way, it says in every single spiritual or religious text, including the ones that the oppressors right now claim to, you know what I mean, dude? Anyway, it's total fascism. It's literally like the first thing they try to do is crush the human spirit and make us obey. That's their goal. So we'll shut up and go to work and produce their things so they can become disgustingly wealthy and we can suffer. We pay all the taxes, they don't pay taxes. We pay for all the roads. We pay, oh, by the way, all the senators and congressmen and president, we pay their salaries. They're public servants. Where's the service?
And you've mentioned Oprah. I don't know if you guys paid attention to this or not, but Jeff Bezos, Amazon, the Washington Post, what did he say? This is how democracy dies in darkness. No, it is dying in real time right in front of our very eyes.
In the
And
light.
they're doing
And
it
they're
by
like,
crushing the
what do
scent.
you do about it? They're laughing
And
in our
Jeff,
face saying, what are you going to do about it?
speak out. And Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, they are the richest, most powerful men in the world. Peter Thiel, too.
Yeah.
Oprah and Gail attended Jeff Bezos' wedding. Usher attended it. Leo DiCaprio attended it. I had to unfollow some of my favorite celebs. Like I'm a big Usher fan. I love Usher. And when I seen that he and his wife attended the wedding, I'm like, this man helped Donald Trump literally get in office. So how could you go and support someone like this who's already bent the knee and obeyed in advance? If you read the book On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder, one of the rules in that book is do not obey in advance because fascists have an insatiable craving for power. And it doesn't just stop there, as you can see with the Supreme Court's ruling this week. And the rest of the some of the Democrats, two of them, except for one, and that is Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, stood firm in opposition. In order to defeat fascism, you have to be in opposition.
Hmm.
And they come back for more and more. Donald Trump is going to keep coming back for more. Now he's saying if New Yorkers don't vote the way he wants them to vote, then we're going to have some problems. What did he call Zoran Mamdani? He called him a communist. Look at Nazi Germany back in 1930s, and you will see the same sentiments echoed by Hitler. Hitler was a strong man, and everything had to be bent to his will. The same way you seen Elon Musk and Donald Trump fell out, that was very reminiscent of Mussolini and Hitler because both men have very big egos. Donald Trump has a big ego, Elon Musk has a big ego, and they're both out of control, drunk with power, and it's not going to stop. So now would be the time for everybody to be using their platforms. Get you a camera, get your phone, whatever, document, record. I've seen I can't even count right off the top of my head how many videos I have seen as it pertains to people being captured by ICE. This shouldn't be. Mayor Karen Bass, if you're in the LA area, literally had to go and stop a raid. And it just goes to show you that there are ones out here for anybody who's saying, oh, well, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. Why are they not standing up? They are standing up. What can they do with limited power? But you
That's
know who has unlimited power? Republicans. They have the House, they have the Senate, they have the Supreme Court. So what can you do other than what we're doing right now, which is being smart and using your platforms? And even
true.
with that, you still have to be careful because you will be targeted. And
Well,
luckily
yeah,
for me, I haven't been targeted yet because
yeah.
I've stood firm on business and I said, I'm not afraid of him. He fears powerful women, and I'm a powerful black trans woman.
You know what
So
I
that
think?
with a voice, with a platform.
A
So
hundred
go ahead,
percent.
Tony. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's okay. I was just gonna say, I think what they fear is Mom Donnie. When he speaks, you're like, yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. I don't live in New
Tax the
York.
rich. They don't like that. You saying
Yeah,
the rich should pay their share? He said that, and Republicans went into a frenzy. Who was it? I mean, everyone got on Truth Social and X and attacked him like, oh, he can't beat Marjorie Taylor Greene is one. It was so many. Laura Loomer was another one. I'm like, this is not only Islamophobia. This is xenophobia. This is the caustic terrorism as well too, because you are doing it against somebody who doesn't look like you, somebody who doesn't pray like you, somebody's faith. The same way Hitler wiped out a whole entire Jewish population is the same thing that they're doing with us as colonized people in this country, as a black person in America or
and
any other marginalized group, from disabled to women. They hate women.
veterans, uh, everything. They look. Our government that the working class pays 90% of the taxes. I don't know that figure. Pays 90% of the taxes for this country, right? All they do is they take that money and they use it to do things, fight wars, create conflicts to make themselves more rich. They take our money, send it to Israel. They take our money, do all these things. I'm like, this is like one of the richest countries in the world. People should be like, oh my gosh, you live in America. You're so lucky. You're like, yeah, it's really great here. I have everything I need. That's how it is in these other countries. You're just like, I have everything I need. I have free education. I have healthcare. I have this. I have that. It's like a dream to live here. Why is the United States the richest country in the world? Imagine, think about this. Atlanta's huge city, huge metropolitan, one of the most up and coming, like entrepreneurial. There's people living under the bridge at 75 and 85, just blocks from the most disgustingly richest, tallest buildings in the country. These huge monoliths. It's like castles. And then people are living in under the bridge. I would be embarrassed. to be leadership in this country. Every single person in leadership should be actively working to support the people. If they're not doing that, you got to go. And I think that's the best thing about having these fucking crazy people in office right now is you're seeing people like Mamdani, people pop up everywhere and be like, nope, Deja Fox, um, what's her name? Anna Escamani in Orlando, AOC, Bernie Sanders, all of these people being like, hey, that's it. We have hit the tipping point. It's time to fight back now. And let me
Jasmine
ask you a
Crockett
question.
is one as well
If
too, and she
if
just came out, and I don't know if you guys have seen the video. She just came out and she said that somebody is helping Donald Trump because he can't just come up with these policies on his own. It is somebody there helping him, and it is Stephen Miller and Russ Vought, the Heritage Foundation. This big ugly bill, because there's nothing beautiful about it. Celine Dion is beautiful, Beyonce is beautiful, but there's nothing beautiful about this bill. So
I
for him
agree,
to even name it that,
these bills that are coming out should be like, we're doing this for the poor people, we're just doing this for the disenfranchised, we're doing this for unwed mothers, we're doing this. These bills coming out should be like, wow, that's we're completely reforming education. We have so much money in this country. Why are people suffering? I've been in my career for 25 years. Why am I still fucking struggling? What is happening? Our country is being stolen by the oligarchs, and the government, the people whose salary we pay to stop it, is letting it fucking happen.
bending the knee, bending the knee, obeying in advance, Tony. I feel your frustration because
Yeah.
I've been touching on this with my colleagues. And I did not know that he was going to start on this. I wanted to get into his acting career, but vent
This is,
ahead because this
how
is
can
what
we
I have
talk
been
about TV
talking.
shows that I'm in when the country is being stolen by the ultra wealthy and the government, like you say, is bending the knee? Let me ask you a question. if
Go
if
ahead.
you were like if you were like, oh, I think we should, there's a lot of, let's say I was a principal of your school and you were one
Yeah.
of the teachers, you're like, hey, I'm going to start this program to some of the kids in my class don't have enough food to eat, and I start attacking you, what? The agenda is clear. Mom Donnie's not like, I think we should do this and I think we should do that. Mom Donnie's like, I think we should help people who don't have enough resources. So why are you fighting against him? How can you fight against someone who's standing up for the disenfranchised? Your agenda is clear. You don't give a fuck about poor people or anyone but yourself and your rich fucking friends. It's time to take our country back. It's fucking bullshit. We need to stand up and fight these fucking idiots. It's not Democrat or Republican. It is ultra wealthy versus the rest of the world.
And not only that, but it is right versus wrong. And the Republicans, y'all know y'all wrong. And to your point, in Texas, Greg Abbott cut funding for the school lunch programs. And also, Ted Cruz just took a trip over there to Venice. He did it before during his in 2016 when we had the pandemic, when there was a flood there. I'm not in Texas. I have a girlfriend there.
Yeah.
So they're literally, like Tony said, using our hard-earned tax-paying dollars to fund trips for his golfing plans
These
for
guys are taking
Mar-a-Lago,
vacations with
all of
our
these things
people
that
don't have enough food to eat. They don't have enough to feed their kids. And they're like,
no,
oh, I mean, $15 an hour. That's way too much money. Be like, actually, it should be like 19 to 26. The minimum wage hasn't changed in like 30 years. Like, what has
that's
happened?
something that Bernie Sanders was speaking about is making sure that people have minimum wage. As far as a decent living, the cost of living has went up. Has your eggs gone down? No, that's what he ran off of, lowering egg prices. No, you didn't lower any eggs, but you sparked off trade wars with our allies, with other countries, with Canada, with China, and then you paused them for 90 days. What his favorite word is 2 weeks. 2 weeks tops. We give it 2 weeks. We're going to pause it for 90 days. And that's why he earned the name Taco. That is exactly why we call him Taco, because you always chicken out. One minute you're gonna stop the tariffs, you're gonna pause it for 90 days, and then you're gonna put it back in place. Which one is it? I mean, let us know. Because things are already going up and they're gonna go up even more with this bill that just passed. And y'all happily got up there and put your thumbs up in the air and danced and celebrated. One of the Republican congressmen smoked a cigar. I hope you choke on that smoke. But other
Bro,
than that, that's what they do. And then you
it's
brag
like
about it. The audacity of y'all. They don't care.
it's like Hunger Games. It's turning into real life Hunger Games. People are
Eat
suffering
the
out here.
rich.
We pay these people's salaries. Anyway, like I said, I think that to leave it on a positive note, I think the tyranny that's happening now is causing people countrywide to stand up. And I think from now on, we need to vote for people who are actively fighting, like Mamdani, like AOC, like Anna Eskamani, like Deja Fox, like all these people. We have counties where Republicans are being beaten by trans female mayors in their first term because people are like, I'm fucking sick of it, dudes. We need change. There's
And
countries, counties in the South that are voting for a trans woman that are red states because they're just like, we need to change something. So I think it's changing everywhere. And people are like, I mean, this is the first time AOC has been like, oh, yeah, you were right. People are like listening to her. People are taking down their Trump flags. People are sick of it, man.
they're waking up. And it's going to take more and more. You still have some that are hanging on for dear life in that Trump cult. They are still believing it. And my fear, because he's already laying out the groundwork for what he's going to do in New York if Mondani wins, which is him and Eric Adams. And Eric Adams is just an extension of Donald Trump. They are all in it for their own wealth. Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams. And he's made it very clear that he's not going to be critical of Donald Trump. That's a cop out for me because you see what he's doing is wrong. All of these rollbacks they just granted him for the federal workforce. Do you know we could expect some more mass firings because during his first 100 days, what did he do? He laid off so many people out of these positions who were qualified to do the job. You're going to see more
Doing a
mass
good job, and
firings.
we're doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing, and we're losing money now because the dude's a fucking moron. Every decision he makes is to create chaos so him and his wealthy friends can get wealthier. They don't give a fuck about the American people. It's time for them all to go.
Absolutely. The whole administration and these files, because I haven't forgot. I know Tony's going to say it. The files. Elon, if you know something, release it. But we know you're not going to. You're pulling our legs. That's what you're doing. You are
Yeah,
pulling our legs. If you got something, show it. Put it on wax. Put it on paper and let it be known. We know the
exactly.
man's name is all throughout the files. You don't have to tell us. We already know. When he was in that press briefing yesterday, one of the news anchors pressed him and asked him, so what about these Epstein files? Well, I think that Jeffrey Epstein is a creep. That's your friend. So I was not expecting you to turn on your friend. Now all of a sudden he's a creep. What does that make you, Donald? And not defending Jeffrey Epstein, but both of y'all are creeps. If you can go out here and attack women, what does that make you, Donald? But you're a misogynist anyway. You're a
He's so
misogynist anyway. And you called Kamala Harris a bitch. But you know what? I mean, you can call me a bitch. I don't mind. But you know what bitch means? Bitch means being in total control of herself. And if me
uh,
being an outspoken, powerful, strong trans black woman makes me a bitch, I will gladly take that title.
100%. And you know what's funny is so I don't identify as a liberal because I don't identify as a political party because that's how they divide us. I'm a very liberal person. But it's funny because they call bleeding heart liberal, they call liberals bleeding heart. You know the photo, the picture, the heart that's always shown as bleeding, surrounded by
Yes,
a row of thorns, is Jesus's. Jesus is the original bleeding heart. And the problem is, I was talking to some guy online. He's like, oh, Jesus was a conservative. I'm like, that's your guys' problem. You don't understand anything. You don't understand empathy. You don't understand compassion. You swallow the Kool Aid. you'd rather sit there and be like, God bless America. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's like a woman sitting in an insane asylum in a chair, rocking back and forth, being, it's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. They don't want to look. They look. They walk around like this. And if you say something, they're like, what are you crying about? You know what I'm crying about? The fucking people starving, the kids dying in floods, the country that used to be, never was great, has potential to be great. Always let rich people run rampant. And it's time now to take the power back. We have the numbers. We are the workforce. We have all of the power. It is time to take the power back.
Let me read some of you guys' comments. This administration is full of it. Yes, it's time for them to go because they don't know how to do their job and be for the people. Not at all. Not at all. They are for themselves. They are self-serving. And then as it pertains to Christianity, my colleague Bubs the God and I and Alvin Tipatet, this and that, we have been talking about how they will weaponize Christianity and say, this is for the good. This is for the good of the country. And they will say that this is patriotic, especially Mike Johnson, who is the House Speaker, who basically made sure that this bill rammed through. They was going to do it in the lick of the night, but you know what Hakeem Jeffries did? Even though he's a centrist, he made sure that they did it in the daytime so that we could actually see it. Because they sneak and they do things when we're not watching. Just as we're talking right now, they could be trying to pass another piece of legislation or an executive order, because when he got in there that first 100 days, what he did was signed a bunch of executive orders. Couldn't stop with the pen. He could not put his pen down. He just kept signing away, signing away, signing away. And as we're doing this show live right now in real time, they could be doing that. So it is important for anybody out there. If you're going to run, get involved in your community. Know what is going on. Be on alert as far as these ICE raids. ACLU has something where you can track where they are, where your local law enforcement is cooperating with ICE. I checked mine this morning, and it's a couple down here in South Carolina that have signed, warrant, and everything to cooperate with ICE. I was angry. I was devastated. And I'm just like, okay, I got to pull it together for this interview with Tony. I cannot let it show, but I had to speak on it because you guys need to know these things. It could be in your area. It could be in a town near you somewhere else, the next town ahead. Make sure that you are being vigilant and aware.
And oh,
Please
by
do.
the way, um, I looked, it's really quick to Google. It's super simple. Is is immigration good for the economy? One report by the George Bush Foundation, who's a Republican, the other report by Congress, they just show a line going up like this. It's good for the economy. You have people who come to this country, work, contribute, pay taxes, and don't use any social programs because they're not citizens. They don't have a social security number. You have two studies done by Republicans and Congress saying that it's like this. You know what I mean? It's so all of this is just a big show. It doesn't even it's and these people they know that they're not they're way smarter than me. Bro, these people went to Harvard and Yale and all these colleges. They're not dumb. They know immigration is good for the economy. They're doing it to distract, to distract, to distract. It's time to vote,
And
vote them out and take our country back and stop them
absolutely.
at every turn.
And what gets me is when something goes wrong, they will blame the Dems. Like the floods in Texas that took the lives of 27 girls. I didn't even want to, I was going to address it in the beginning of the show, but I'm just like, okay, I got to shift the focus here. It was heartbreaking. 27 girls that could have prevented. And do you know what Greg Abbott said?
Tell me.
Winners don't focus on this. Those were his exact words. And that's some
How about
notorious.
what are you doing to help with the money that I pay you for your salary? Imagine if I paid you to run my social media campaign and all you did was like every post was making you more famous. I'd be like, I mean, you're fired, right? So like I just don't understand. I mean, they're literally like our employees. We need to hold them accountable. Democrats, Republicans, everything. And here's the thing about Democrats is Democrats, oh, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Cool. What are you doing to stop him? What are you doing to stop him? What are you doing to stop the takeover? You're not blameless either. What are you doing? What is happening in this country? You know what I'm saying? People are dying literally, and you're doing nothing. You should be fucking ashamed of yourselves.
And bending the knee. You voted with them to censure Rep. Al Green. You voted against the legislation that he brought to the floor to impeach him. But see, we understand you guys don't have the numbers. We know that it is majority uh, Republican. But let them vote on it because that makes you a part of the situation as well too. And it's going to turn a lot of people off not to want to vote at all.
Yeah.
Now, as far as Greg Abbott says, his words, let me pull them up. You said, who's to blame? You asked me, and I'm going to use your words. Who's to blame? Know this. That's the word choice of losers. That's what he said. He referenced Friday Night Lights. What does football have to do with 27 girls and families, people who have lost their homes, they've worked hard, put their blood, sweat, and tears into? Food, people are begging, crying, children are starving. And this is your response. But see, I see why Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett called you hot. I see exactly why. I could go lower, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna wait on my colleagues' panel. That's when I can go lower. I can really drag you the way that I really want to drag
Yeah, man, it's totally insane. I'm glad you're so passionate about it because I think we need, um, you know, I think we all need to speak up. I know friends, Republicans and Democrats and everyone's just like, sorry, what is happening in this country? When did it's like totally insane, you know?
We are
Sorry, I'm
living in the end times for anybody. We are living in the end times, literally. If you don't stand up and speak up before it is too late, it is gone. Because democracy is not dying in darkness. It is dying in real time, right in front of your very eyes. And I know a lot of people are
exactly.
like, well, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Why did I lose my job? Speak up. And I know people will say, I'm not political. And I try not to get political with all of my guests. I had no clue, again, that Tony was going to go there. But see, it's just the passion, how people are involved in using their platforms, people of stature. And I can go down a list. John Legend, the singer, uh, he said this, he's not accepting any tax cuts from Donald Trump. He's one who's been very vocal and against Donald Trump. Kerry Washington is another. People of big stature, Barbara Streisand, Bette Midler,
Yeah.
Cher, Dolly Parton, all of them have been using their Bruce Springsteen.
Born in the USA is like, what is happening? See, here's the thing: is a lot of us. I grew up in the '80s, right? I was born in the '80s and '90s. I always loved this country. The problem is now because of the internet and because of social media, you know all of the things that are happening. We're seeing behind the curtain now. So you're like, wait a minute, we have plenty of money. The resources are being misspent. The, we're sending $12 billion to Israel to support a genocide with the money that I'm making from my job. And Donald Trump isn't fucking paying taxes. And I'm paying 18% and he's paying $300. What is happening?
And as far as that, as far as Israel, we know that he's deeply embedded with Netanyahu. And what did I say that I called him? From the girl group TLC, Fan Mail, they released an album called Fan Mail. And the single on there is called Silly Ho. That is Donald Trump for sure, because you are deeply embedded to autocrats. Did y'all see when Netanyahu literally was at the White House and handed him a nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize? This man has done nothing achievable worth honoring anything. He's a draft dodger. And in fact, him and my father are the same age, grew up the same time. My father's from New York. I was born and raised down here in the United States of America, from South Carolina. And my father told me all about Donald Trump. And the same grift that he's out now on, it's the same grift that you see happening in from the shoes, whether it's the shoes, the phone, the cologne and the perfume, whether it's buying your citizenship. And now you want to take people that are workers in the fields and replace them with Medicare recipients. You want people to work for something that they pay into, Social Security and their Medicare and Medicaid. Fool
Meanwhile, everybody in
yourself.
office gets free health care that we pay for with our taxes. They get retirement from our taxes. We pay their salaries, and then they sit there and they're just like, I mean, we can't give you guys health care. I mean, we can't increase the minimum wage. You're like, I'm paying your salary. You have health care because of us. You have health care because of all these people working at the dollar store and Kroger and Publix and all of these and Walmart and universities. We pay your salaries. Why are you not every single day waking up being like, how can I make this country better? What is happening? If I did this, if I was as bad at my job as they are, I never would have booked. You know what I'm saying? You'd be fired immediately. It's the equivalent of like if you and I were at the dollar store and you were my boss and I was one of your managers, you were the owner, and you came in and like, what are you doing? Be like, oh, I'm trading stocks. You're like, have you done anything in the store today? No, nothing. I'm trading stocks to make myself money. I'm just using this to make money in the meantime. You'd be like, you're fired. They all need to be fired. They all need to be fired. Every single Democrat and Republican who is not actively fighting to make the lives of every American citizen better, you're gone.
You can't be afraid of getting arrested because did y'all see how Gavin Newsom pushed back? There's your 2028 presidential runner right there if you want a man. Because, see, you didn't want to vote for a woman who was
Yeah.
willing to help you because this country is deeply rooted in misogyny. You didn't
Yeah.
want a woman the first time with Hillary. But every time with Hillary, it's the emails. It's the emails. Now back to Israel. Why are we helping Israel? We should be helping Ukraine. You pulled out of NATO, and that was something on the campaign trail that Kamala said he would do, which is he'd rather run on a problem than to fix the problem. We got it done, and you're celebrating and saying we got a ceasefire deal. Iran said, "Fuck your ceasefire," and they fired off those missiles. I wish they would have landed toward. I'm a drag. I already dragged him on my colleague's platform. I ain't gonna do it here. But if those missiles would have went there, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Sunshine. But at the same time, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
And people didn't want to believe. You believed his lies that it was the trans, it was the immigrants. They're taking your jobs. What else did he say on that campaign trail? They're poisoning the blood. I watched a documentary and I didn't finish the rest of it. It was on Adolf Hitler and how he rose to take over Germany in the 1930s, early 1920s to the 1930s. It was for decades. And it took something to happen for him to let go of that power. He's following the same playbook because if you go back, we all know this, on his nightstand, on his bed nightstand, was Hitler's book. How do you think he knows how to operate like this? He studies autocrats. That's not normal for us to be celebrating people who want to cause harm to innocent, everyday people who are just here to make a living. And now you got alligator Alcatraz. You might as well just go ahead and call that Auschwitz. The only difference is they don't have the ovens. They have live animals, alligators. So when it floods, there were reports that people are being treated cruelly and inhumane in these facilities. They found maggots in some of their food. And I went and I did a little research on over yesterday. Baby alligators eat insects. So what do you think the adult alligators are going to eat? We know what you're plotting. Read
Mm.
between the lines. And I can't say the rest here on the gram. It's not safe. But we know
It,
what you're plotting and
yeah,
planning to do.
it's totally insane and it's so disheartening. And I hate talking about this stuff, but anyone who has any sort of consciousness or compassion, that's the thing is they talk about the devil, the devil. This is the devil. The devil smiles at your face and lies to your face and steals from your back pocket. What more devil do you need? Somebody you're paying to fix this country is actively stealing it from you. And not just Donald Trump, a lot of people and all the Democrats who aren't fucking doing shit now to fight it. Fuck you too. You know what I'm saying, dude? It's not just Republicans. That's the thing they do. Oh, Republicans this, it's not Republicans, Democrats. It's the entire government needs to be actively fighting for us or you're fucking gone. Get the fuck out of office. Elect Deja Fox, elect AOC, Bernie Sanders, Gavin Newsom, Mom Donnie. All these people are standing up for us. Here's my thing. Again, I don't want to talk about it anymore, but I'm right there with you. And so many of us are. And I think there's going to be a major social upheaval because people are like, this is enough. You have gone too far, you know?
And I think the No Kings protest was the call for people to say this is too far. But the scary part is you still have people that, like you said, that are still drinking the Kool-Aid, believing what he says. And
But
that's dangerous. Because if you
here's
go
my,
back in time and you look at cults and you really, really study cults, you know where I'm going, Tony.
yeah,
Charles Manson, Jim Jones, David Koresh, and we know how the Jonestown massacre ended. Bodies everywhere.
yeah.
That was the deadliest massacre in history. And as Charles Manson, these women, because it was men too, but it was mainly the women, if you go back and you watch some of the old court trials, they showed up, they shaved their heads for him. They literally, I can't make this up, they crawled on the ground for him. It was like he had some sort of, I can't even describe it, like some sort of spell on them or something. When you are in a cult, you are brainwashed and you believe what that cult leader says to the very end. And with his supporters, they will believe it. And what happened when they believed it was something called January 6th. He
That's what
said that the
I'm saying. The
election was
dude,
stolen.
he led from the rear, I might add, because he's a fucking coward. He led an insurrection against the United States government,
Mhm.
and then they allowed him to be president. What does that tell you about every single person in the government? They should have shut it down. Be like, absolutely not, absolutely not. Democrats and Republicans, he's your front runner. So what does that say about your entire party?
He's
You know,
tanking their entire party. And as far as that, what you said, and we're going to move on, uh, Mitch McConnell, and as far as on the Democratic side, Merrick Garland, y'all had the opportunity to make sure that this man never was able to run again. Y'all could have went on ahead and impeached him, went through the trial, went through all of that, and we'd have never been able to run again. But see, you didn't want to do it. Mitch McConnell, you are complicit in this. And then most recent, as far as the Medicaid and Medicare, this big ugly bill, you said that people will be okay. Yeah, when people are in the grave, when people can't afford their medications, you'll be okay, Mitch. As
they'll
far
be
as RFK Jr. being confirmed, you were against that. Why did you change principle now?
yeah, and RFK is an absolute fucking crazy person.
That's who's
No
in charge of our
disrespect.
health care.
I mean, the things that if I went to a job interview and said the kind of things that he says, they'd be like, "Oh, okay," and they'd never call me back. It's insane. And if I went to go apply to medical school and I said some of the things that he said, they'd be like, I mean, this person is out of their mind, you know? No disrespect to like mentally challenged people or the mentally ill. He's on the next level. I don't understand the delusion. And what I don't understand is the Trump supporters out there right now who are dating women or vice versa, women who have men who have had government jobs for 30 years and are coming up on retirement and then they get fired. you're just like, I mean, you can't still be a supporter of this fucking nut, can you? The dude's a fucking nut. He's leading an active takeover, an oligarchical takeover of our nation, and we need to stop it immediately.
It's not only just fascism, but this is straight out of the authoritarian playbook.
It's
Because
insane.
to beat people into submission, you're deploying the National Guard, the Marines, totally unnecessary on horseback. We seen the video yesterday of them on horseback in the park. There was nobody there in the park. A waste of our hard-earned tax-paying dollars. That wasn't necessary. What suspects? What criminals? Oh,
Yeah,
you're talking about yourself because it's not us.
exactly. Well, let me ask you a question. Who makes the laws? You think if some rich guy uses cocaine, he's going to jail? He's not. He knows the judge. They went to school together. But if a poor person uses cocaine and gets caught, they go to jail. So the laws are not real laws. The laws are for the working class. You think if Marjorie Taylor Greene has a daughter who has an abortion, she's not having it. Who needs an abortion? She's not going to let her have an abortion. So these people are complete hypocrites. As Martin Luther King said, socialism for us and capitalism for you. Cap Free enterprise is great. I love it. I love letting people. I want to be rich, right? I am rich. I'm extremely wealthy compared to, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I want it to be fair for everyone. I want to live in a world where everyone has enough, or it's not a world that I think is a good world. You know?
And to the people that are coming in this country, they're not criminals. They're here to seek asylum. They're getting away from the danger. And now they're not welcomed here anymore because they're afraid to come here. And if anybody thinking that a Olympics is going to happen this year, I highly doubt that. Because it's like we're no longer the United States is no longer a safe place for any of us. No matter what you look like, no matter what creed, religious background, anything. And the reason why they keep attacking Zoran Mamdani is because he doesn't look like the status quo, which is your average Joe Schmo, like a what's his name on CNN, Scott Jennings, your basic average Joe. It's something different. Another example of that will be Ilhan Omar. One of the Republican congressmen wanted to deport her because of the hijab, because of her head wrap. You're going
Yeah.
to, this world is not going to be all white males. This
Yeah.
world, when God made this world, He said, I'm going to put a little bit of this in the world. I'm going to put a little bit of that. I'm going to put a little bit of this. I'm going to give people different religions, different cultures, different backgrounds. Everybody's not going to want to eat the same kind of food. Everybody's not going to want to wear the same kind of clothes or style. What's so unique is that this is the beauty. This is the United States of America. This is not Germany. This is not Russia, where Vladimir Putin is. Because we noticed that as far as him imposing his tariffs, you imposed tariffs on Canada. You went after China, but you didn't impose any on Russia. We know
Nope.
why.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are terrified of Vladimir Putin. And that man has something on you that if you were to dare cross him, we know how Putin operates. You can wind up in a third story, out of a third story window, how he does journalists that are like myself, speaking up in opposition. You can wind up being thrown from a third story window or poisoned because that has happened to a journalist over there as well too, or in some freak car accident. Donald Trump is terrified of the people that you admire. He's terrified of them, which is why he wouldn't dare cross Netanyahu. The U.S. is a melting pot of different things and freedom. And as far as wanting, you call yourself the party of life and freedom in America. This is not being free. This is not the America we once
It's
knew.
oppression.
It's oppression. It's beating people into submission. It's taking people down by force, which is what we're seeing with these ICE agents raiding into doctor's office. One video of them raiding into Walmart and tasing a gentleman there. This is where we are. Hey, girl. How are you? It's been a minute. We got to catch up. But America has now shown us that this is America. If you're a rich male, if you're rich and you're a man, no equal opportunity for any other groups, the disabled. It breaks my heart, and
I
I
know.
cried at those protesters, these people who are detainees, who are in wheelchairs, and they went in there and they didn't injure them or anything, but they just pushed their wheelchairs out. They were saying, "Don't cut our Medicaid, don't cut our lifeline." You just pulled the rug from up under them. Now, how are these people supposed to survive? But you're so selfish. You focus on yourself. That's what you focus on.
Yeah, and I think it's so good for that you and that we are using our platform to be like, hey, dude, this ain't it. I always say this. Look, I love money. I work hard. We all do. Everybody works hard. First of all, we
Mhm.
all work hard. But you think I want to have $1 million in my bank account and I watch the neighbor and they don't have clean clothes for their kids? Why would I want that? How could you live like that? That's how these people live, man. They, they, you know what I mean? It's completely disgusting.
And the working class will suffer. Come 2026, when midterms hit, people will lose their health care in this country. And to the Donald Trump voters, this is what you voted for. And I hope you have the day that you voted for. Because we were all on the front lines telling you everything that this man said he was going to do. The red flag should have been when he said he's going to be dictator on day one. We know that's not realistic. Dictators don't just last for one day.
The red
They
flag
last
when he
for
tried to
decades.
forcefully take over the government and they were going to kill Nancy Pelosi,
And her
but it's time
husband
for
Paul.
him to
And
run.
they made fun of it. That's who they are. No respect for rule of law, but the Supreme Court bought and paid for with the sixth majority. You granted him immunity. This man is like the Incredible Hulk. He's unstoppable. And he will go to his grave when it's time for him to go home with a smile and our hard earned tax-paying dollars.
Who?
There will be
Donald Trump?
no accountability for him because the courts can't stop him. The injunctions that were put in place were to stop federal courts. The federal courts who were pushing back, they locked up a federal judge from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I saw that. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's totally insane. I feel like it's like a hostile takeover of like our nation.
It is. And if you've seen the Purge movies, you know for 24 hours, that's what goes on. This is exactly what we're living in real time. This is idiocracy. This is theocracy. It is authoritarianism.
Here's the thing, there's always a tipping point though. Like at a certain point, we're just gonna be like, I'm not going to work anymore. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean?
There's going to be a lot of strikes, general
Yeah.
strikes. Strike while you can. We're seeing a lot of people say, we're not doing this. I think it was someplace where the trash workers were out there saying, and these working conditions, if you want us to pick up this trash is built up and built up and built up. They went on strike. So if they can do it, we can. We have the power to boycott.
Yeah, we need to
Don't
unionize.
spend money. Go ahead,
As
Tony. I'm sorry.
we need to unionize. As my brother always says, my brother's a college professor. Ozzy always says, all of the rights that they have in these other countries, especially Italy, they fought for. They didn't just give it to them like, oh, let's give the citizens this. No, they fought for all this stuff. We fought for a 40-hour work week. We fought for the right for African American people to vote. We fought for the right for women to vote. We fought for all these things. We fought for the right to have an abortion. Why do you think they don't want women to have the ability to have an abortion? Because they want us oppressed. They want us all working a 9 to 5 and shutting up and paying our taxes so they can do whatever the fuck they want. That's why everybody needs to be in a union. That's why I'm in a union. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, It's time for change now. It's time for change now. You know, tons of I read an article the other day that said tons of people in ICE are quitting because they're like, this is some bullshit, dude. Like, what is happening? I'm not this dude. I'm sure a lot of them signed up with like, hey, I'm trying to make this. They came from a small town. They're like, oh, I want to, we need to keep people out of this country so we can take care of our own citizens. We're not taking care of our own citizens. And they're being harassed and they're like, this is not what I signed up for. You know what I mean?
I
Anyway,
shouldn't even be home. It started at the 9/11.
yeah,
It's to capture people who look like me.
yeah,
It's to capture people who don't look like they do, who don't pray like they do. Even if it's your last name that looks suspicious, they don't care if you are an American citizen or not.
yeah.
Iranians have been detained. Any ethnicity. They're going after anybody who speaks out, even journalists.
Yeah,
And even though I do not agree with this man at all, the warning also came from him as well too. And that is the late John McCain. John McCain warned that Donald Trump would go after journalists. And then to see Terry Moran from ABC News let go because he critiqued Donald Trump. ABC News shelling out 16 million. Was it 15 million? George Stephanopoulos, 15 million, shelling out money to him so that he won't come after them. And when it came time to get down to his inauguration, Mika and Joe Scarborough on MSNBC saying, we went to Mar-a-Lago. Why would you go there? You can always try to pet the lion on the head. But if this lion is out for blood, the lion will eat you alive.
sure. Yeah. It's crazy. Okay. Look,
Yes, a lot.
I'm glad that no, but I think it's important. I think it's important for us to stand up and be like, hey, this isn't about me. I'm doing fine. I'll be fine. I've been an actor for 25 years. I know how to pick up side jobs. You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't know how to do that. A lot of people aren't going to be fine. A lot of people are disabled. A lot of people are veterans. A lot of people have mental problems. We used to take care of people with mental problems in this country. You know what I'm
And then
saying?
they
We used to
cut it,
take care of people in this country. Like what? It's shameful. It's
and it's
shameful.
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. You got to have compassion. And then for Elon Musk to sit up here and say empathy is for the weak. What's wrong with having empathy and compassion
He's a
for a
rich
person?
kid. He's a rich kid. That's easy to say. You didn't work hard for your money. What are you talking about? Your parents owned an emerald mine. Talk is cheap. Anyway,
Yeah, this is where we are.
I
But we're going to
know.
shift gears here on how can we move forward from here? Because I could tell something was on your mind when I asked how 2025 was, and then we
You
segue
know what?
into.
Watching your, it's really difficult to somebody who has a lot of empathy and compassion. And look, I'm a selfish too. I love myself. I think about myself. I wake up in the morning and my first thought is about myself. Human beings are selfish. But I think the next step is like, oh man, like I'm like basically socializing a cat who lives outside now because she comes to my door every day. Should I just not feed her? Should I get the fuck out of here, kitty? No, she doesn't have any food. She's skinny. I'm going to feed her. That's my job as a human being, as a protector, as a man, as a provider. All these people talking about what a man is and what a man isn't. Well, guess the fuck what? A man is a fucking provider. Who are you fucking providing for? You're turning your back on your country. That's not a man, by your definition. You know what I'm saying, dude? You want to define what a man is, but you don't want to live up to it. Do you know what I'm saying? You want to define what a woman is. Guess what? A woman is a provider. A woman creates a home. A woman creates a safe space. But that's not what they're doing. That's their definition. They want to be in charge of the definition, and they still don't want to fucking follow through. Women take care of people. Women take care of the less fortunate. So where's your womanhood? Where's your manhood? Okay, that's it.
I agree to
Don't you
that
know
sentiment.
how
It,
insane is that?
go ahead. I'm sorry.
How insane is that? Is they want to tell you what a woman is and then not live up to it. They want to tell me what a man is and then not live up to it. You're just like, okay, how about anyway, it's time for serious change. The good thing is I'm starting to see a lot of people step up and be like, I didn't want to run for politics, but I had to. Deja Fox, Anna Eskamani, Bernie Sanders, AOC. A lot of people, Republican and Democrats, are like, this is insanity. We need to change this. And I support that. And I'm going to support those people. Gavin Newsom, all the Mamdani, all the people were standing up and be like, hey, this isn't right. Our job is to take care of people. And those people are going to be voted in office. And there's going to be a huge social upheaval. And all these people are going to be gone. All these people are going to be called to task because it has to happen that way. This country, it's swung too far one way. It has to swing the other way. You know,
Absolutely.
everybody gets knocked out, even Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying?
And we're seeing people leave the Republican Party. Joe Walsh, who was a Republican, became a Democrat. So that should tell you something. That's a wake up call. The people are waking up to what's going on. It's going to take a little, the ones who are still in that cult, a little bit longer. Because even if you go back in time in Germany, they believed everything that Hitler, the Jews are the enemy. The Jews are the enemy. They believed that. And they had to be deprogrammed to know that no, they're just here, they're existing. They have businesses, they're everyday people. And that's the same for immigrants who are coming into this country to seek asylum, doing the jobs you won't do.
Creating businesses, creating innovation. You know, like I said, every study done on immigration says that it's good for the economy. So that's all you, I mean, you can Google it in 2 seconds. It's 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
Every study ever done in immigration says that it's overwhelmingly good for the economy. I have neighbors who literally, like, you know what I'm saying, swam over here, walked through the desert with 2 containers of water, built their own business. You know what I mean, dude? These people are like, imagine things being so bad that you had to leave your whole family in a different country, risk your life, walking through the desert 14, 15, 16 hours with 2 containers of water to come to America, to then start a business, live in someone's closet, to then start a business. And 20 years later, you own your own home and you have this great house for your kids. And it's like, these people are so dumb. People are so fucking ignorant. It's depressing.
It is 100%. And I pray that people more and more wake up to see not everything that's glitter. He promised y'all things and still hasn't followed through with his promise. But I want people to understand that it may seem like we are, the world is, it, well, it is on fire, but a phoenix rises from the ashes. So
Exactly.
fascism doesn't last forever. I mean, look at Germany. Something had to spark off for Hitler to let go of that power. So
Everything beautiful out of this world came out of a dark place. Jazz, rap, hip
mm,
hop. Every single African American person who's successful now. Every single one. You know what I mean? Oprah, Tyler Perry, all of these people had incredibly difficult beginnings. Um, uh, every single black athlete who came from nothing. You know what I mean? It's insane. Every single African American who's successful at all in this country, or anyone who's not white who's successful in this country, anyone who didn't grow up with money who's successful in this country. You know, so I think you're right. A phoenix rises out of the ashes, and sometimes it takes things getting bad for people. I mean, I know people who were lifelong Trump supporters who were taking their flags down, being like, this ain't it.
well,
Imagine if you were married to someone 25 years and you're like, ah, man, she's getting ready to retire, and she gets fired because of some idiot, and it's not even like it was helping. They just did it as a show of power.
Uh,
Yeah.
this is
It's
where we are. All we can
Yeah.
do is be at the front lines encouraging, as you
Yeah.
said, with AOC, with Gavin Newsom, with so many others who are out
Yeah.
here on the
We're
front line
fighting that. Yeah.
actively fighting and standing up. Jasmine Crockett. We're
Yeah.
seeing Rep. Latifah Simon, Governor, the governor in Maryland, Wes Moore. They're out here pushing back. Mayor Karen Bass, who stepped in and stopped a raid yesterday, literally. So you have to be willing, as John Lewis, may God rest his soul, said, to be the good kind of trouble.
Yep.
Because if you stand for something, you'll fall for
Mm-hmm.
anybody who believed his lies, who believed that he was going to do the things that he said he was going to do. I already peeped game about him. I said, we've been through this rodeo with you before in 2016. Right now, he's got people behind him who have successfully helped grant him everything that he's won, and that is the Heritage Foundation. And the vice president, I gave my prediction on what's going to happen when it comes to if somebody that is a Democrat wins the next election. I already know because the vice president is supposed to go and certify the election results. Kamala had to do it for him, and I know she really did. But she did what was right. She did the right thing, and so did his vice president, Mike Pence, and they wanted to take his life. J.D. Vance is a different type of breed. He is the one of the architects of Project 2025, and he wrote the foreword for it. If you guys don't remember, but he wrote the foreword for it. And if you go back on the campaign trail, he said, "I wouldn't do what Mike Pence would have done. I would have not certified the election results." There you have it. So we know what he's capable of. He's just as dangerous, just as nefarious as Donald.
Yeah, he's a psychopath. You can see it in his eyes. He's a complete psychopath.
So that's all I have on that. Shifting gears here before we
Yes.
wrap. Collectively, how can people protect their peace and move forward?
Look, I think I share. I think we have to support people who are standing up for us. I think we need to share news articles when we see things that are unjust that are happening. I think we have to like educate ourselves, and I think we just have to remind each other, like, I have a friend who's kind of like anti-trans, but not really. But he says stupid stuff about makes jokes about trans people. I'm like, bro, why do you care? Why do you think this is funny? And keep in mind, he worked at his place with trans people, with gay people, with gay men, with gay women. So he's like a good dude. But he's just like, yeah, because this and because that. And you're like, bro, why do you care? How does it affect you? And I think just reminding each other, like, hey, maybe calling women bitches even as a joke isn't that funny? Or hey, maybe this, maybe that, or hey, maybe this immigrant. You know what I'm saying, dude? It's wild, man. It's wild. I think we need to all encourage each other to like rise a little bit higher. You know
Oh, there we are. Phone tilted over.
You're good, but I think and I think just reminding each other to be patient, remind each other that all of the divisiveness that they're trying to institute is like is intentional manipulation. I'm not going to hate Republicans. I'm not going to hate Trump supporters. I might fight against things that they're trying to do, but I'm not going to hate, no positivity ever comes from negativity. People aren't morons. They grew up in a certain area. They think a certain way. They're led to believe a certain thing. You know what I mean? Um, So I think just encouraging people to rise up higher, encouraging people to stand up for what's right, sharing posts that are uplifting, sharing posts that, you know, people know what to do. Voting people into office who are good people, who are fighting for Americans, who are fighting to make the world a better place, supporting them. I think that helps a lot. You know, creating social change.
And it begins with us. It begins with the ones who are out here on the front lines standing
Yeah.
up. It
Yeah.
begins with the ones who are out here pushing back. You cannot be afraid, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here with the flu of messages that I've been getting from people saying, what do we do now? How do we go forward? You live, you exist. You don't let them take your voice. Don't let them silence you. Keep making noise.
Yeah.
And that's what I want everybody to remember, because it might seem like you're powerless in this, but just know that you're not alone.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
when we're logged off of this platform here, just know that you're not alone, that there are friends and family who care about you. Be in community and be vigilant.
Yeah.
And I think the No Kings protests, the boycotts that have been happening, the
Mm.
protests when he first got into office, from the ACLU to so many nonprofit and grassroots organizations who are out here pushing back against him, brought everyone together. Even some of his supporters showed up to some of the protests, not the antagonizers, but the ones who have woken up and said, wait, this isn't right. Why am I losing this? Why did I get laid off? So
You
it goes
start
to
messing
show you
with
that.
people's Medicaid and you start messing with veterans and you start messing with people's income and stuff like that, they're gonna see. They're going to wake
Especially
up.
vets. He's a draft dodger. He's a draft dodger for sure. Bone spurs my dress.
Yeah, man, he's shameful. He's a shameful individual. Um, but these people are going to reap what they sow, and the world's going to change, and the world's going to continue evolving because human beings are too powerful. And when you're on the side of justice and compassion, will always prevail. It may take some time, but throughout history, every account in the Bible, every account in every spiritual text, every account in history, the good finally wins. The good will, justice will find a way, peace will find a way, you know?
Absolutely. And today's final thought, and I'm going to let Tony give his. Tony, you give yours. Any final thoughts or gems you would like to leave with
Here's
everybody?
my final thought. I don't want to live in a world where I have everything and my neighbor has nothing. We need to live in a world where everyone has equal rights and and we need to focus on income equality and equal rights. Equal rights means just because some rich person's great grandfather stole from your ancestors and then created laws that said, well, this piece of paper says I can have this land. Be like, I mean, who created that? I didn't vote on that. I didn't vote on you coming in be able to buy 20% of the real estate market in Atlanta. I didn't vote on that. You know what I'm saying? So I think I would just say today, continue to fight back, continue to stand up for what's right. You know what I'm saying? Don't tire of doing what's right, as they say. You know what I'm saying?
And today's final thought comes from one of my favorite artists, Frida Kahlo. And she was writing about New York City in the 1930s. She says this: there is so much wealth and so much misery at the same time that it seems incredible that people can endure such class difference and accept such a form of hunger, while on the other hand, the millionaires throw away millions on stupidity. And that's what we're seeing right now with this administration. The uber wealthy, the 1%. We will fight, we will resist, and we will continue to keep standing up on the right side of democracy and the rule of law, because that's what we have to be. Those
Exactly.
guardrails there are gone. Those that are in Congress and Senate, except for a few, have already capitulated and bent the knee to give him everything. So we now have to be an opposition. We have to be those guardrails that uphold the rule of law. Because the Constitution, in his eyes, what's the Constitution? It doesn't matter to him. But rules still matter to us. If they apply to us, it should apply to our political leaders and presidents too. He should not be exempt from that. This conversation is very refreshing and uplifting. Thank you, Tony and Miss Stevie. You are so welcome, my love.
Thank you so much, and I'm so glad we're connected, and I appreciate you fighting the good fight. Bless you.
Bless you, and I would love to have
And
you back on.
we're all together. There's a bunch of us who feel this way. Millions and billions of us feel this way. There's billions of us fighting and standing up for what's right. There's this many of them, and there's billions and billions and billions of us. It's like 6.8 billion to 0.02. We have the numbers. We will prevail.
And we will win. To anybody who feels powerless during this time, get out, get
Yeah,
involved, and do something in your community. There are so
exactly.
many ways that you can volunteer and help out. Go to a protest, make some noise, make flyers, do what you have to do to get out here and bring awareness. Hold meetings, hold family gatherings, things that you can do to bring the community together. Because right now, everybody needs to be in community with everyone, with everyone. His supporters, the ones that are still hanging on, they will wake up eventually. Just give them time. It's dangerous to try to do it, to try to get them out of that mindset. It has to be somebody, and it is a gentleman out here. I can't remember his name, but he talked about getting people out of cults and deprogramming them to make them see the actual truth. Because right now, they will believe his truth to the very end. And our truth is being drowned out because he has the media like CNN. He just teamed up with Newsmax to do a series on there as well too. And we know Newsmax and Fox News is where he goes. So just know that there are people on the front lines out here fighting the good fight. Joining me tomorrow, we have Misha from Real Life and Reality. And Tony had such a great time. This was such a refreshing conversation. And let everyone know where they can follow you because I would love to bring you back.
Follow me at tonydmafia on Instagram. That's where I post all my upcoming shows and whatnot. And check out The Waterfront on Netflix if you haven't watched it already.
All right, fashion dolls, there you have it. And this replay will be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube so that you can check out some of the past shows from this week, as well as some of my past seasons. I posted a clip from season 16 a few minutes ago, so make sure you guys go and check that out with my colleague Bubs the God. I love you all. I want you guys to be safe out here. And remember, we're in this together. Now is not the time to cower in fear. It is time to stand up and use your voice more than ever. I love you all, fashion dolls. And please go and check out The Waterfront on Netflix with Tony Demil here. And I will see you tomorrow with the beautiful Misha from Real Life and Reality tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Bye bye. Thank you.
You